if I would ask you what was the last time you played a multiplayer game offline with friends, family, or whatever the case, local multiplayer, co-op, or PvP, whatever the case, offline, what was the last time? And if you had to think of that for a while, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Because does it feel that local multiplayer or couch co-op and all that stuff, is it dying in today's day of gaming? Maybe 80 to 90% of multiplayer games now are mostly online, right? Especially since now we live in a generation where everything is connected through, the internet, social media, entertainment, meetings, even doctor visits, right? You could basically do anything online nowadays, where back then that was not the case, right? When it started, it was only local, you had to have friends over or family over in order to play a certain game. Then when online did happen, on Xbox days, some PS2 games and stuff like that, it wasn't as big, right? Because it wasn't as good, right? But now online is so huge, especially if you add, voice chat to the mix, like Discord, apps like Discord and stuff like that, in-game voice chat with certain consoles and stuff like that. Everything's more fluid, more easier and convenient, right? That yes, online multiplayer is 10 times better than what it was back then, right? But is that good that this is happening where local multiplayer is at the back end and almost non-existent for the majority of gaming, right? Because offline or couch co-op or whatever the case is so different compared to playing online, right? The reason why local multiplayer is so different is because you have that intimate, moment with your friends or family. When you play games offline, is so different than offline. If anything, it's better in a sense because you actually get to see the person next to you or get that vibe, where you can't feel when you're playing with someone online, right? Now, don't get me wrong, there is a lot of companies that do still, provide offline experiences. Like, for example, there's still some new games, for example, like Baldur's Gate 3, right? You could play that offline with friends on the same console. You don't need another game if you're, in real life with them. You don't need to get the same game, right? You could play the multiplayer game or the co-op experience in the same console, right? In the same game. So there's still companies out there that have not forgotten to add this feature into their games, where maybe for a lot of people it's at the back end of their head, where they don't care for that. Like if they don't have that feature, it doesn't matter to them, right? And for me, the first time that I noticed where there was a big change, which it probably was too late for me to notice. It was not that long ago. I think it was 2021 when Tears of Arise came out, right? And before it came out, they have announced that it would not have local multiplayer, and that had a lot of controversy behind it because almost all Tales of games have had local multiplayer in them. Who knows how many people used it or not, right? But every single game, at least the majority of the games, had local multiplayer. And for me, my fond memory is Tales of Symphonia, playing that game on the GameCube with my brothers, right? We didn't have money to buy multiple consoles and stuff like that. So having that feature on that game, on an action RPG, right? It was so good, and we all experienced that game together, the story, the characters and all that together. I know GameCube was one of those big, game consoles that had a lot of multiplayer games like that. But to strip Tales of Arise from that, it did give a lot of people, that wake-up call, that, maybe that realization of maybe, companies don't want to put local co-op to a game, maybe it just takes a lot for no benefit, right? Even not that long ago, my wife asked me if I wanted to play, video games with her. Like we were trying to have a little video game night, right? And I was like, yeah, sure. We could order food, order pizza, whatever, and then we hang out, play video games, right? Obviously, she's not really a gamer, right? I'm mostly with the systems and stuff like that. So I was trying to find a co-op, like couch co-op, like, local multiplayer, right? Couch co-op or whatever, right? And I was looking at my games on the PS5, and there was hardly anything that we could play on that system there was multiplayer games, but there wasn't a lot to choose from with local, right? And then I go to the Switch, and almost all the games that I had local features, local multiplayer features. So we did end up playing, Luigi's Mansion and Mario Party and stuff like that. Right? And that made me realize that in modern day, there is a lot of companies that still do that, right? But one of the big ones that have not moved on from local multiplayer experiences is Nintendo, because they even advertise that, especially with the Switch, right? It's meant to have that family device, right, where you could play with family next to you. You don't need multiple switches, disconnecting the Joy-Cons and playing right there and then, right? I mean, I get that that's the reason why they have not moved on from that feature, but in reality you look at it and it's like they can do more online only games, but they know that the ecosystem or their consumers do play these games that have these features, local multiplayer functions and stuff like that, to play with family and friends, right? Even when Mario Wonder was about to release, they announced that it's not gonna have online co-op. It's only gonna be local. A lot of people gave shit to Nintendo about doing that, right? A new game, you're gonna make a new game that it has online features but doesn't have it doesn't have co-op online. Like, what is wrong with you? It's gonna fail, whatever, right? Obviously it didn't. It's one of the highest selling games, fastest selling 2D Mario game, right? But the reason that it works for Nintendo is because they make their games for that purpose, right? When that game released, my brother actually came over and we were playing Mario Wonder, got through the game, and it was one of the most funs I've had in a while in a Mario game since the NES or SNES and stuff like that. So it does give it different experiences. If I would have played with him online, it would have been fine as well, but it wouldn't be the same, having him next to me and we're just laughing and having fun or whatever, right? Ordered some food and stuff like that. Now, I get that there's a lot of people that can't have friends over or family over because they don't have anyone close to them, so online is the only thing they could do. So I understand that. Now for me, I do feel really fortunate, and it's weird to say that right now because I do have a group of friends that we get together, we play Smash Bros, because we play Smash Bros competitive, right? But we get together once a week and just practice Smash Bros, play together, money matches, whatever, right? Now, it is to play the game, but it's mainly to hang out, right? We hang out, we play the game, and then we go and compete, right? But it's mostly to get that vibe, like, hang out, talk while playing and stuff like that, right? Where we still play online in other games, but when we play offline and they come over and we just hang out, eat, talk, and play Smash, it's so different than any experience that we had online, But I get that not a lot of people are fortunate like we are, that we can have a group of friends hang out and play together. I know time passes and people move on, they have families and stuff like that, so I get that it's really hard for people to hang out with friends and stuff like that. I know the new system is coming out for the Switch, and I'm pretty sure they're still gonna release games that have local co-op, local multiplayer for their system, because it is designed that way, right? But I just wonder for all the other companies that have moved on from that, like Tales of Arise, for example, right? Will the other Tales game will it have local multiplayer, or did they just move on from that? Or if they release a new game, right, will it ever have features like that doesn't require online? That way, if for example my wife wants to play with me, she can, or does she have to buy her own system or her own PC and stuff like that? So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that local multiplayer is dying in the gaming industry, or is it very much still there? It's just smaller than we've ever had. And for those people that stayed for the whole video, I just want to give a little update. The reason that I've been in hiatus for so long, maybe like 3 months from now, is because I had a newborn. She's already going on 9 months, 8 months and a half, so it's been a challenge. We are new parents, so we're trying to get adjusted with everything and stuff like that. So that's the reason that I've been basically in hiatus, trying to figure out how to balance everything and stuff like that. But hopefully I could get back making videos and making content for you guys. And with that note, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.